Did you know you could be sitting on a pile of cash without you even knowing it? Alright, so what do I exactly mean by this? Now, as I said, you could be sitting under a pile of cash, you could be sitting under a pile of gold, you could be sitting under a huge pile of diamonds, and you will understand what I mean by the end of this video. If there was any video that I would want you to watch on my channel, it would probably be this one, because this story, this lesson that I'm about to share with you, it is so beneficial. Whenever I found myself going through a decision that I would want to make that's kind of huge and it's kind of impactful, I tend to just like resort back to this story that I will tell you in just a second. But yeah, it's gonna be super important for you, and it might probably be one of the best stories you ever hear. Maybe even this month, the best thing you heard this month, who knows. But yeah, stay tuned. Okay, let me tell you this story. Have you heard this story of the farmer and his land? So there was this farmer and he had a decent land. And this farm made him a good living and he was satisfied. In fact, he made a really decent living. Then one morning a friend told him about a potential land he could buy and find diamonds in. Now I know what you're thinking, who would not want diamonds, right? Everyone was buying land in that region and finding diamonds and just becoming rich. So this farmer, in his ambition and haste, decided to sell his farm, move to the land with diamonds and buy a couple of acres there. After all, he would find a lot of diamonds, he would become rich, and perhaps he could go back to his old farm and just buy it again, because why not? So this farmer had sold his land, moved across the country to that specific region where he would find diamonds. But unfortunately he didn't find any diamonds and only became poorer because he couldn't farm there. So he returned to his old farm, and what happened next was shocking but shouldn't be so surprising. The man who had bought his farm told him that he had found diamonds in his very own farm. So this farmer, who had spent all his time, all his energy, all his money into trying to find diamonds and what would make him rich and satisfied, at the end only came to the realization that he already had everything that he needed. He didn't need to go to that land, he didn't need to sell his farm, he didn't need to search for diamonds. He already had everything, but he just wasn't aware of it. Now just for a second, have you heard about shiny object syndrome? Shiny object syndrome means that you will only be focused on one thing until you find something that is quote unquote shinier. And you tend to find it shiny only because everyone else is talking about it, everyone else is raving about it, everyone else is just talking about how it could be the next big thing, how it's gonna be the cool thing that makes you rich, satisfied, fulfilled. But that couldn't be further away from the truth. And in fact, that's why it's called shiny object syndrome, because it really is a syndrome that you don't really want. So just like stay away from that. Whenever you hear like someone else talking about this potential like opportunity, this business idea, or like this thing to do, or the next big trend, just like totally ignore that and yeah, stay like in your own farm, stay in your own lane, and you will be better off. I think this was one of the stories that was in The Alchemist, where the guy was trying to find gold, but then at the end, at the very end of the book, it was like in his very own farm. So yeah, there are like a lot of versions to this story. It is definitely not mine either. Now what exactly can you take away from this? Well, a lot of things. First and foremost, a lot of people will try to tell you what to do, and that is kind of wrong, because they don't know what you know, and no one can know what anyone else is going, and they can't ever like put themselves in their shoes. That's why you should always be focused on yourself and just do whatever you think needs to be done. Now you might have this business opportunity that you're thinking about, you might have this passion something that you're very passionate about that you would want to pursue, but you see everyone else not pursuing like their passion, so you tend to think that, oh, this won't work for me because it just didn't work for others. And that is a very false reality. Or even you might have this thing that you would want to probably study on or just like pursue any master's degree or any like higher education, but you feel kind of like not inclined to doing it because everyone else is not doing it, or perhaps everyone else is doing it and you would not want to further study. And people tend to like do whatever everyone else is doing, and that is, as I said, like almost a very false reality and a false narrative that they shouldn't like buy into. What you need to be doing instead is to just focus on your own farm, and yeah, keep farming. They say that the grass isn't greener on the other side, and that is true, because what you don't realize is that your farm may be green enough, and in fact it could probably be way greener than you think it is. Now I want you to share this story with anyone that crossed your mind, anyone that came to your mind whenever you were reading the story or at the end of it, or even perhaps it could be just you. Let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think? Do you kind of relate to the story? Do you feel like others are always telling you to do something, or perhaps to stop doing something that you want to do? I'd really love to hear your thoughts, hear your stories and what you have to say, because I definitely know this is something that I totally relate to. People always try to tell me what to do, what not to do, and I feel like that isn't a really good way to go about with life. I know this stuff could be super like blatant, but how often do we actually tend to follow that? Because I think I said this in one of my other videos, but there was this video where Elliot Hall said that people are like sheep, they just tend to follow the herd off the cliff. Now just like think about that for a second. Yeah, so what you need to be doing is just like, as I said, focus on your own farm, keep farming, and just like eventually you might hit your own like gold, your own diamonds in your very like own land. You don't need to like change paths, you don't need to change directions just because like everyone else is doing it and just because everyone else feels like this is the right thing to do. That would be it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Now if you haven't subscribed already, please do so, and yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you think, like how much do you relate to the story. And if you liked this video, which I hope you did, please give this a huge thumbs up. If you did like the story, I put together another lesson, 23 lessons that I learned by the age of 23 that I think would be very beneficial as well. Feel free to hop on there. I'll put it down in the comment section below or somewhere along the screen here. And yeah, that would be it for today. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll catch you in the next video.